Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne and I'm a Chinese metaphysics master in Hong Kong. Today we're going to talk about health and what sort of issues may be appearing more frequently in period 9. As you know, period 9 has started officially this year, 2024, and it will be with us for the next 20 years, so all the way until 2043. And in period 9, because it's associated with the fire element, we will be seeing certain ailments, certain health issues, certain diseases more frequently than in other times, in other eras, in other energetic timelines. So it's important to see what is going to be more prevalent. And then we're going to take a look at your Bazi chart to see whether you are one of these people who may be a little bit more prone to suffering from these sort of illnesses. And if so, obviously, you need to go and get a medical check or do something to prevent this from happening. Bazi is not here to replace a doctor. Yeah, so I just want to make that very clear. I'm not a doctor either, but we can see based on a Bazi chart what you are more exposed to probably over the next 20 years, and then you can start working on not suffering from these illnesses or diseases or ailments, or to make sure that you just minimize any risk whatsoever. And that is the purpose of this reading. So the issues that we are going to see more frequently have to do with these body parts. So one thing that we're going to see more frequently is anything to do with the heart. Heart can also be blood pressure, yeah. Any sort of heart problems, whether they're serious or not so serious, but obviously, we want to avoid this. Together with the heart, we're also looking at the eyes because they're connected. So heart and eyes, there will be more people who may be suffering from poor eyesight and suddenly need glasses. So, things like that. Doesn't mean that you're going to go blind. It's just that, we'll see more people who will ask to have their eyes adjusted, to have maybe a LASIK surgery or whatever it is. So, these things we will see more frequently. Now, there will also be quite a lot of mental and emotional issues in period 9 because it's a fire element. And in a fire period, people become more extreme, more passionate. And with that, very often, it's very easy to just trip into an extreme. So mental and emotional issues may be much, much more prevalent than in previous eras. Then we will see a lot more fertility issues. And this is something we check in a female chart, not necessarily in a male chart. Nowadays, we don't need males anymore to get pregnant. So we look at this only in a female chart. We will also see more skin issues. So again, don't think the worst. Most people immediately go to the worst case scenario like skin cancer or anything like this, but it could just be more acne, more skin rashes or anything like this, eczema, that will be more prevalent. And then lung respiratory diseases, as well as anything to do with the big intestine. So these are the body parts that are a little bit more prone to negative energies in period 9. And so in order to check whether you specifically will be affected or are at a higher risk, we are looking at your Bazi chart. So for this, obviously, you need to plot your charts. You can go to this link here that I have on the slide. I'll also put it in the description of the video, so you can just copy paste. And then what you do is you enter your date and time of birth. Ideally, you have the time of birth because this makes it much, much more accurate. It's all about the distribution of the elements in your Bazi chart. And if the hour is missing or if the time of birth is missing, then it may be slightly off. So ideally, you do know the time of birth. So just enter this. And then we're looking at two parts of this Bazi chart. At the very top of the Bazi chart, you will see this diagram here. It's called natal chart. So that's at the very, very top of your Bazi chart. And then we are also interested in what we call the 5 structures, and that is all the way at the bottom on the left-hand side. Yeah, on the second page of your Bazi chart, this is where you find the 5 structures. Now, within the 5 structures, we are only concerned with the natal distribution. Yeah, so you see here two diagrams. One is in beige, light, very, very light colored, and one is in purple. We ignore the one in purple. Yeah, so here we are only concerned with the beige colored diagram. This is what you look at, right? And there you can see you've got the 5 elements: fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And then you have on this, in this diagram, percentages that are associated with these elements. So here the earth element is at 40%. And then here we've got the fire element at 60%. The wood element is at 100%. Here, the water element is probably around 20 to 30%. And then here we've got the metal at a 0. Yeah, so take note of the percentages of the elements in your 5 structures chart, right? So this is what we mainly look at. So now let's take a look at these body parts and how they're represented in your chart and what you need to look out for. So first thing, the lung, respiratory system, and the big intestine. So for this, we look at the fire element in the 5 structures and the metal element. Yeah, so look at the fire and the metal. If you have the fire element at 80% or above, or, yeah, not both of them, or the metal element is at 20% or below, then you are more prone to or more susceptible to any sort of health issues that pertain to the lungs, the respiratory system, and the big intestine. So the fire element at 80% and above, or the metal element at 20% or below. So in this particular case, first we look at the fire here, 60%. Yeah, not an issue with the fire element, that's all fine. However, the metal element is at 0. So this person needs to take much, much more care of their respiratory system, their lungs, needs to try to minimize exposure or activities that could weaken the lungs. So definitely give up smoking. If you are a smoker, do not go into places where the air is very pollutant. Maybe you get an air purifier. So small things that you can do to improve the quality of your health in period 9. And of course, also the slightest sign of any discomfort, you go and see a doctor, right? So this is for the lungs and the big intestine. All right. Now, next up, we are looking at the heart and the eye. So heart and eye, for this analysis, we look at the water element and the fire. So again, the fire here and here the water. Fire and water element, this is what you look at in your 5 structures. If your water element is at 80% or above, then you are more susceptible. Or if the fire element is at 20% or below. So here, if we check, water is at 20 to 30%, so it's not an issue. It's only an issue if it's 80% or above. And for the fire element, here, this is at about 60, also not an issue, right? So it needs to be at 20% or below, right? So not a problem. Now, for the heart and the eyes, we don't just focus on the 5 structures. We also look at your natal chart. Yeah, so look at this chart as well. If you have in this part here, the horse and the rat, yeah, like in this case, the horse and the rat. If you have the horse and the rat in your natal chart, then you are also prone or more susceptible to heart and eye issues, even if the elements in your 5 structures chart are in the safe zone. But you need to have both in your natal chart. If you only have a rat, but not the horse, not a problem. If you only have the horse, but not the rat, not a problem. You need to have both in your natal chart. It doesn't matter whether they are side by side, yeah? Just check whether you have them. And if so, you need to be a little bit more careful and maybe need to do things that strengthen your heart muscle, strengthen your cardiovascular system, right? This is for the heart and the eyes. Now, when it comes to mental health, we are looking at the water element and the metal element. Yeah, so water and metal. Now, if you have both of these elements at 80% or above, yeah, both of them, not just one, both of them at 80% or above, then you are more susceptible to maybe depression, mental and emotional issues in period 9, maybe volatile emotions. Yeah, so these kind of anything that has to do with a bit of a distorted mental health or a distorted emotional health, you need to take care of your mental and emotional health. If you have the water and the metal, both of them at 80% or above. So in this particular case, water is at about 30%, and the metal is at 0. So there's no issue there. Yeah, so we don't need to worry for this particular person. Not a problem. All right. Now, for fertility, fertility means that obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you just look at the female chart. Yeah, this is not really something that we check in a male chart. So fertility we check in a female chart. And there we're not really concerned with the 5 structures, but we are looking at the natal chart. So in your natal chart, again, you refer to these animal signs here, and you check, do you have the rooster and the rabbit both in your natal chart? Check, rooster and rabbit, both of them need to appear in a natal chart. You must have them both, yeah? Which pillar you have them is irrelevant, but you need to have them both in the chart. If you only have the rooster but no rabbit, then not an issue. If you only have the rabbit but no rooster, then nothing to worry about. Both in the chart, and they either appear side to side or they appear apart. It doesn't matter which pillar. Just check whether you have them. If you want to get pregnant in period 9, then you may have a few issues. It may not be that easy. And so you probably need to take a little bit more prenatal care before you're planning for a child. All right. And then lastly, skin issues. For skin, we look at wood and earth. So the earth element here, and here we've got the wood element. Now, here we check if your wood element is at 80% or above, or the earth element is at 20% or below, then you are more susceptible to any type of skin issues. So in this case here, the wood element is at 100%. So for sure, this is something this person would need to be careful with. Earth element is at 40%, so not so critical, but for sure wood. So the wood is at 100%, so they need to take care of potential allergies. You need to make sure that they maybe change their skincare regimen, whatever it takes, right? It doesn't have to be anything serious, but these are the indicators that you may be a little bit more susceptible to these issues in period 9. All right. So how do you solve this? Obviously, you go to a doctor, you change your lifestyle. You can also work on feng shui to support your health condition. Feng shui will not solve your health condition completely, yeah? You still need to go and see a doctor. But if you adjust your lifestyle and if you adjust the feng shui of your home or your office, that can act as a complementary factor to alleviating potential health risks. All right, so take a look at your chart and then take very, very good care of yourselves now that you know what it is that you need to look out for in period 9. All right, if you do have any questions, any comments, please put them in the comment section below. If you would like to have a complete and comprehensive health reading, then get in touch with me. My email address is in the description to the video. And please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post 3 times a week, and I would really, really love to grow this community. All right, see you guys soon. Take care.